What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat, and we are here today playing the next episode of Mount & Blade Warband. I hope you enjoyed the previous episode and the one after this, all of the episodes ad nauseum. In the previous episode, we hadn't gotten a whole lot done. We had picked a few fights with Vaegirs, we had run around, beat up some lords, doing the normal stuff that we do in our playthroughs. I think now we should probably look for a new target, someone to victimize. Let's look at Jerb and decide if Jerb is going to be worth beating up. It looks as though they have a lot of marksmen and a lot of guards and a lot of knights, which seems to be weird. The AI has been generating a lot of top-tier units lately. Let's go find some lords to help us take it. I think if we just go get the king, we should be alright. I don't know where he's at right now. I mean, he could be just about anywhere, but hey, what's going on down here? I was gonna say, usually when they're actively on fire, it's a pretty good indicator that someone's in the process of burning down your village. I mean, you see the fire, you look for smoke. You see the smoke, you look for fire. One leads to the other, but sometimes things just burn, and there's nobody there. There's nobody there to help. Is he here in the castle? No? Well, then where is the king? Let's go find him. I guess he's probably over here beating up peasants or something. That seems to be what kings do most of the time. Let's have a look-see. We've got Jarl Dirajun over there. I suppose we could make a hard push against Rayvaden or one of their other territories. They are holding Voluka still. That's kind of a weird thing for them. I really hope that Rhodoks gets their land back, because as it stands right now, I feel like Nords is like the only side that's actively beating up Vaegirs at the moment. And since they've controlled like 50 to 60% of the map over the last few, they definitely need to be focus fired a bit. Definitely all DPS on them until the whelp phase, and then we sort of back off a little bit. Direct our damage elsewhere. It is so dead in the Vaegir Kingdom right now. What is going on, you guys? How about something good? Oh, we're attacking this again. Apparently they took Kura back. I didn't even see that occur. That's weird. Well, I'll wait for this to be done, and then we'll join the next battle. It's only going to be like 40 men anyways, so this should be quick and painless. Or at least I hope it's painless. You do have a lot of guys lining up on the walls, though. They look like they're low tier. Whatever. See if I can shoot past the shield here. Nope. And all these guys that are filing in behind me, you are messing up my shot at the moment. I know I could just do this. So before somebody's like, you should go into first person mode. I know I can go into first person mode, but I hate it. I hate it. I won't do it. I won't do it. Let's shoot these guys with some arrows because they're all facing the wrong direction. And the opportunist eye is feeling as though that's a good idea. It'll also disrupt their shield so that people can swing through the line. God, I just cannot damage that guy. Either that or he has just an inordinate amount of HP. God, I've just got to beat it in. This is great. I wish things would just go like this for me all the time. Just sitting around shooting at arrows. I'm not shooting at arrows. I'm shooting at things with arrows. If I was shooting at arrows, I would have a lot less luck. I mean, that'd be a pretty terrible shot. I made an ad-lattle back in the day, and I was a pretty terrible shot with that too. I didn't know there was a possible way to look like a wussy or caveman. But believe me, there would not have been a lot of cave females up in my tent that night if they had seen me use that ad-lattle. It was kind of a weird, just kind of version of the ad-lattle throw. And I used to do archery, so I was like, archery, ad-lattle, it's like the same thing. You're throwing projectiles, right? Nope. Completely different thing. So, if you ever think that your archery skills, or lack thereof, will translate into ad-lattle skills, they do not. I mean, that's the short and skinny. That is the rub of the situation. Never understood that saying, that's the rub. It's a weird situation. Because like when people say that's the rub, they're pointing out that the situation is what it is. And I've never associated just random mundane situations with being rubbed. Like, if I'm being rubbed, I think situations are turning out pretty good for me. I mean, I can't necessarily speak for anybody else, but if there's rubbing going on, I'm definitely in the party of feeling like the circumstance is at least a few echelons higher, one or two steps better than where it was previously. So I tend to use it for like when good things are happening. I'm like, yeah, that's the rub right there. But it didn't really turn around. I mean, I try and be a trendsetter with that regard, but then people just look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, that's not what that saying means. We can't change the meaning of a saying. That can't physically happen in all the history of linguistics. So, you know, sometimes I just give up. Are we ever going to take this wall, gentlemen and ladies? I mean, there are some sword sisters in here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to place my archers back here so that they stop clogging up the feed line at the moment. Make a little bit of room for the guys that actually have shields and armor and, you know, all of those nice little shiny accessories that keep you alive and unpunctured. I'm gonna try, I don't know what's going on right here. They seem to be tripping over one another. This is sort of odd. I don't know what's happened to the AI, but they appear to be quite confused. As though going up ramps is an overly difficult thing to do. What are they blocked up on? There's not even any deaths occurring. What in the hell? Hold on here. I need up the wall. Let me up your ladder. Oh, people are dying again. Things are happening. See, it's strange because there's like that gap right there. Oh well, we killed everybody. You know what it's because? It's because I deployed my archers. And so all the archers that are on the ladder are trying to go backwards, but all the guys that are trying to go up are going forwards. And we've basically got two escalators running into each other, making like a crazy escalator, like a lasagna out of that escalator black felt, whatever the hell that is. That grippy stuff that goes under your feet. The conveyor belt material. I have a word for this. I know there's a word for this. I can come up with it. Now then, we've taken Kura back. I'm just going to hang out at Kura for a little bit because it seems as though they keep getting a little bit of a hitch in their giddy-up, and they keep coming back to take things that we just took, which means we may be overextending ourselves. That's the other indicators. You want to be careful. If they're rapidly retaking everything that you're taking... Ooh, a bunch of Sea Raiders? Yeah, I'll fight you. I'll fight you right now. We're running out of morale anyways, and there's 55 of them, so this will be a nice opportunity for some of our lower tier troops to become higher tier troops and become better. It's basically like going to battle college. That's what this is right here. And I actually don't want my archers... Oh, I'm sorry, not my cavalry. These are my cavalry, not my archers. I don't want my cavalry running in too early. I'm going to try and circle around a little bit. Maybe make a little bit of confusion in their lines before we do anything else. Because much like a terrible artist, I would prefer that their lines be impeded or otherwise segmented poorly. It looks as though a lot of them have changed directions at us. So let's send the infantry in. We're going to send the cavalry in too. And since the battle is taking place on the uphill, our archers should be able to fire over the heads of our own side. And it should work out okay. You just hit my horse for 37 damage, man. That is one more than 36 damage, which seems like it seems like kind of an arbitrary thing to talk about, but at the same time, it's true. Oh, and slashed in the face. And I was going to try and do something badass right there and vault over that guy while slashing a dude in the head. And then I was going to do like a 360 kind of muffin grab. The muffin grab is a skate move that I made up by myself. It's not really a skate move. It's just kind of like ollieing barely an inch off the ground. It's called a muffin. It's called a muffin grab. You know, I thought it was pretty dope when I made it up. Apparently it's not though. That's what the internet tells me. That's a lot of dislikes on a video. Don't ever make up your own skate move. JK, we're all out of that battle. 55 men dead. Who did we lose? A sword sister. Of course, a sword sister. Who else were we gonna lose there? God, I'm upset with you right now, sword sister. How could you die without my permission? I need express 30-day notice before you go off dying. It's a courtesy thing. It's a courtesy thing. Let's go have a look at... Really? Like... Who's fighting at the moment? Boyar Reland. How does a random lord have 413 men? This is my confusion that I continue to be just kind of bothered by. And we're coming back to defend it a little too late, as always. Oh, you guys are going to run away because you're a bunch of cowards. We could totally, with all of us. Yeah, that's more than enough. An extra 200 men right here would be pretty much insurmountable on the walls, but they're not going to close in. They're not going to go after it. So we're going to lose Kura again. The AI is so stupid that in a hard-run race to do dumb stuff, they manage to top themselves like every single day. Sigh. Combined numbers. You can count them. If you knew what a number was that was higher than 200, medieval peasant, you could look and be like, you know what? I've counted high enough. And given my numerary advantage, I believe that we could band together as brothers and take this superior force out because we're hiding. Ah, Artimener got back. Yay, we got right to rule. As I was saying, we could band together as brothers and hold the walls against a superior-sized force, but no. Let's all dance back and forth. Let's prance. Prance with... They're attacking Ambient again. And we made peace. I kind of want revenge for that, even though we're at peace right now. I'm gonna let it go, though. I'm gonna let you walk away, Boyar Laruquen, because you have a Q in your name, and I support that. Let's move along. Now then. We need to be at war with somebody. And everybody loves us right now, which is a problem, or at least they're indifferent. I don't know what's worse, being loved or having people be indifferent to you. Both come with equal risks. Let's go to Sargoth, and I'm going to drop off some of these prisoners here at the Huskow. Or the Clink. You know, whatever you like to call the prison where you're from. And there we are. We've got a lot of Nord veterans that are ready to go, so let me get their upgrades cooking. And Lazalet's ready to level up. I think Lazalet's just a warrior, so we don't have anything to worry about with him. Let's bring him on up to... We're going to make him into one of our lords, unfortunately, once he... I don't mean that in a negative way. Lazalet's like, wait, unfortunately, what? It's like one of those sideways things you hear somebody say about you. You're like, wait, what? Like, you'd have to read, you have to do a double take. But anyways, we need to work on his leadership a little bit so he can have a larger party. Once we start our own faction, we're going to have to start out by converting these guys into lords. And once we do that, they're going to be running around with sort of minimized armies, which is a little bit disappointing. Unfortunately, we can't see how much renown or anything he has, but I suppose it's got to be enough for now. What was his skill? He's got a lot of two-handed weapons skill. I think I was working two-handed weapons with him, so we'll go for that. Borcha, what do you do for me? Tracking. Okay, so tracking skill is never terrible. I'm going to stop working on his intelligence abilities, though, and I'm going to start working on some of his riding abilities. His riding's at 3. Let's get his weapon master up to 3. We'll continue putting points into there. Very nice. We're going to convert them into Huskarls. We're almost up to 20 Huskarls now, which is very nice. That's going to be a nice little contingency in our force, or a nice little retinue to own the enemy and get all up in their face and be like, what? We'll go 8 veteran crossbowmen so that we can have a superior firing force ready to roll. I'm going to go with 2 mercenary swordsmen instead of the horsemen. We'll go with another hired blade, turn them into slave crushers, because merely beating them up is not enough. You must crush them and see them driven before you and hear the lamentation of their, I don't know, bandit women. I haven't seen a whole lot of bandito women as of the course of this Let's Play. There may be out there, though. They've retaken Kura right before they declared peace. That leaves us in a sticky situation with Swadia, who I think is going to be our next target. I'm going to do my best in the next campaign to kind of direct people around and make sure that they're always attacking things that need to be attacked. I'm going to try and, for the first time, I've never hit multiple locations at the same time. I'm going to try that in the next go. Oh my god, that is a block of text right there. Please, I don't care. I looked around for mods to turn that off. They don't exist. There's a few modded versions of the game where they're they're not exactly mods for the base game. They're full force mods that revamp the entire game, and as a consequence also get rid of a lot of that. Like, there's no tiny add-on that I can grab that's like, go away, extra text, nobody loves you, and then it actually like pisses off and stops bothering me. But having like large portions of my screen blocked off by text is pretty obnoxious. There's not a lot of emotions there that I wish to extend aside from that. I think now that we're at peace with Vaegirs, I should probably go on up. Let's kill off some of these bandit hives. So next to Kudan, there was a Tundra bandit, and next to Rivacheg, there was another one. So let's get in there. That's going to earn us a little bit of renown, a little bit of honor, a little bit of loot. It's just something to do while we pass the time until we declare war on someone else, which should be happening any moment. And I think it was Mariga that ran this place. We're going to have to track him down. I don't know where he's at. He's usually riding around this location every now and again, but it looks like they're at war. I don't know who they're at war with. Let's have a look. Let's go to our faction menu, and if we jump on into Vaegirs, they are bound by truce with just about... Oh, they're bound by truce with everybody on the map right now. That's crazy. They've won a diplomatic victory if we were playing different games. No land has been given over to us, which is disappointing because I like my land. It is my land. It is a fertile land, and we shall call it our land. We're also out of food, so that's no fun. Since everybody's now starving and looking at me hungrily, the first person you always eat is the commander because he's the guy that forgot to order the pizza. Let's buy ourselves some new food. They have used food. At some of these shops, the food comes used, but it's one of those business models that I really feel like they haven't branded it properly. I feel like the branding for a used food business would definitely have to be one tier above that of a new food business. Like, if you're trying to remarket food that's already been touched on, it has already been groped, it has already been chewed aggressively, you do have to step your game up with regards to your marketing. I'm going to move off to Kura then, since Mariga does not appear to be around, and I am zoomed out pretty far, so it's sort of my fault if I don't see him. Check all these castles out and make sure that there's nobody haunting the halls. 21 men in Kura. I should rob it right now. I should totally rob Kura. But I don't think it'll let you rob main cities. I think they've got like a little bit of a stop block in right there so that if you're at peace with someone, you can't raid their city. I was gonna buy food. I keep forgetting what I was working on at the moment. I may be a little bit addled today. There we go. I had lab this morning. This is the day I did this horrible thing. Like, I made the worst decision ever. And I made every other day when I go to college I have night classes, but the days in between I have morning classes. And that was the worst decision I have ever made in college. Aside from taking like calculus programming and, God, what else did I take? Mineralogy. I took 3 lab courses at the same time one semester, so I had like 16 units of like lab. And that was pretty upsetting too. That was a rough time for me. That was a dark patch in my history. Not a lot of video gaming going on. That's how I judge my dark patches, is how much time every day do I get to play video games. That's how I segment it out. 101 men, we could hire some people. Then again, we could just ride around doing some upgrades. It's a bit of a boring episode, I'm sorry. I didn't expect to be at peace so quickly. Whenever we have these nasty little bouts with peace, I feel as though nothing good happens. I do want to pick a fight with Swadia though, so maybe I'll go beat up a lord or something. Let's go see what we can do here. Count Dundouche. He's got douche in his name, so I feel as though we can probably get away with it. Let's go ahead and fight him. It is going to deteriorate our relationship with both him and his kingdom over the course of time. But I want to kind of start a few dust-ups. I want to throw some chaff into the air and make it known that, hey, guess what, Swadia? We're coming at you. So keep your eye on the hills because we are coming over the horizon. This right here is where my archers are going to go. This right there is where my infantry is going to go. This right here, behind me that is. No, infantry do not follow me. I have said the wrong thing. I'm going to have my... What are you guys doing over there? You're goading them into a stupid mistake. Do not do that. And it's my fault. Their stupid mistake is my stupid mistake because I gave the wrong command, or at least I wasn't fast enough at giving the commands, to tell them to follow me around as though I am made of delicious candy. But none of that Necco wafer stuff. Necco wafers are the most disgusting thing that has ever happened to confections. They are downright awful. Necco wafers, I had a friend that bought Necco wafers one time while we were out in the field. We were camping, and he was just sitting there eating Necco wafers all day, just like, oh man, those things are nasty. How do you even do that to yourself? Like, does your colon threaten you with revolt whenever you do that? Because right now, my colon is just hurting looking at those things. If you don't know what a Necco wafer is essentially chalk, and they mine it out of a mountain somewhere, and then they put sugar in the chalk, and then they mash it into this nasty little patty, and they're like, guess what, this is a candy. And they try their best to convince you that it's a candy, but they don't do a very good job because the wrapper for it is straight out of the 1910s, and if there's one thing I know about stuff from the early 1900s, it's that it probably doesn't taste very good, just based on the packaging, because I judge a book by its cover when it comes to food. And honestly, I've been spoiled by like 25 years of fatty foods and just horrible things that are terrible for your body. And I feel like pre-1950, nobody got to eat anything they wanted. They just sat around and ate cabbage and lettuce and just things that were bad. I may be slightly off with my dates right there, but at the same time, Necco wafers come from that time period where you'll sit and you'll eat a Necco wafer and you'll just say to yourself, there is no excuse for this. Why does this, who buys these? And the answer is my friend. He's single-handedly keeping the company alive. I like candy corn, so I'm in the minority. I'm one of those people that likes weird candies. Like, I enjoy candy corn. I can sit and eat candy corn, and I've heard a lot of people say that candy corn is the worst thing they've ever seen in their lives. I think that Necco wafers, maybe you could build housing foundations out of that stuff and nobody would ever notice. They'd be like, huh, your foundation's a little bit powdery. What's this made out of? Oh, Necco wafers. And they'd be like, oh, that makes sense. Deep down, that makes sense. We've gotten 12 morale from that. He's fought well. We're going to let him go. And we gain some honor. And so he hates us a little bit less. I just wanted to test myself against you. Scrimmage. And if we keep doing this, the nice thing is that if we keep raiding them like this, we should eventually spur off a war against the enemy. In addition, it makes life a little bit more interesting because I'm making foes right now. The first time I ever saw the word foe, I'm thinking about that. The first time I ever saw the word foe, I think it was in that game Loki. For the NES, it was an arcade game where you played a monkey. Or was it Loco? I think it was Loki. You played a guy that had been turned into a monkey, and as with every video game, you were off to save your girlfriend. I don't know why in video games, you're always trying to save your girlfriend, like eternally. What is it with video game girlfriends getting kidnapped? Like, they must just... I have no idea. There's no excuse for it. But anyways, video game girlfriends were always getting kidnapped back in the 80s and 90s, and so as usual, you took a red or blue color and then went and tried to save them. Now, in this case, Loki was a monkey that for some reason could belch fireballs. The bad guy turned him into a monkey. Now, at some point in the bad guy's thought process, just bear with me here for a moment. Why, if you're turning your archenemy, you've kidnapped his girlfriend, so mission accomplished there, congratulations. You've gotten through step 1. But at what point in the plan did you decide, like, you've turned him into a monkey, step 2 accomplished, like he's no longer a problem for you. But at what point in the plan did you decide to make him a monkey that shoots fireballs, like that he belches flame? Like, I feel like you've taken all the things that you've taken away from him. For example, right now I have no flame belching powers. But if given the choice to turn into a sentient chimpanzee, so basically I would still be able to talk, I would still be able to do all the cool societal things that I do already, I would just be a chimpanzee, but I could belch fire, I would take that deal readily. So I feel like Loki kind of got the better end of the deal right here, and then all he had to do is go through some arbitrary quest to get his girlfriend back, and then he's like a monkey that belches fireballs with an awesome girlfriend that's part of a video game forever. So I do feel like the tactical blunder there for the bad guy was the fact that he turned him into a monkey that could belch fire instead of, like an earthworm that could belch fire. I mean, earthworm that belches fire, not quite so terrifying as the monkey that belches fire. Which, if you don't know, chimpanzees, they have a lot of upper body strength. Not the enemy. That's not the animal that I would choose to turn my enemy into. I would probably go with something a little less threatening, like a mole. They're blind, they dig through dirt. There are a lot of animals out there that you could turn somebody into. One of those worms that, God, I'm not even gonna go there. So there's this worm. I was in class, my paleontology class, and there's this worm, okay? And when the worms decide they want to get pregnant, they go into breeding season. Nothing new there. Animals do this kind of thing, they go into breeding season. But there's this type of worm that when they go into breeding season, all the worms are hermaphroditic, so they're all male and female. And how they decide who gets pregnant is they fight each other with their manhood. And the first person to stab the other one, like stab, not like, we're not talking about like a casual, hey, what's up, let me rub you with this thing. Oh, you're pregnant, I gotcha. No, we're talking about like, let me ram this thing all the way through your body and then pull it out and be like, aha, you are pregnant. By the rules of manhood, you are now giving birth. Like, I have no idea what inspired nature to do something so horrifying, but I would turn my enemy maybe into one of those because it seems sort of demeaning. And that came around full circle. I'm going to be honest with you, when I started that diatribe, I wasn't really sure where I was going to go with it. Like, occasionally, are they just angry with me? Oh, they're very angry with me right now. They're deciding that I'm not allowed to go into Vercheg. That's okay. Forget you and Vercheg. Faction relations. Oh, they're suspicious of me, so they won't let me through the gates. I let people around that I'm suspicious of all the time, so maybe they're just more discerning than I am. In any case, I think I'm going to tool around for a little bit, and we'll wait and see if we declare a war pretty soon. And I'm going to edit the remainder of this out because I don't think you guys are interested in watching me run around in circles doing nothing for the next 25 minutes waiting for something terrible to happen. Once we have another war going, I'll start the series back up, and we'll do the next episode. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Council for another episode of Mountain Blade Warband. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Take care out there, everybody.